So we're going to go right into the lesson today. We're continuing with area, but this time we're working with just the area of squares and rectangles, which is kind of what we've been doing, okay? So just keep in mind, this is only with squares and rectangles, nothing else. So what we're doing is you're going to be able to find the area of rectangles or squares by counting square units or by using a formula. So today we're officially going to learn a formula that makes it a little bit faster. So area we know can be found or estimated. Okay, so sometimes with a triangle we learn that you can estimate it. If we don't know exactly, right, you can say, I think it's about 4 square units, right? That's an estimation. Or with our squares and rectangles, we were learning how to get the exact, right? So it could be found exactly or estimated. And we have formulas exist for some polygons. So we're going to learn one of these formulas today. So to review, we've got, what do we use when we're talking about area? Say it out loud.
Square units.
Yes, square unit. Okay? This is a square unit right here. It's a square, and that's how we find area. Then also, area is the number of square units needed to cover the inside of a figure. So we did the perimeter song. Area is the inside. We'll learn the area song tomorrow. So, keep learning. Okay, so we're going to start off with trying a word problem together. We have Sam and Jackson. Sam and Jackson are building a rectangular treehouse. They want to make it 6 yards long by 8 yards wide. How many square yards of plywood? That's the floor. That's what you can use to make a tree house. Okay, so they're going to the store. They're like, how many yards of plywood will they need to buy? What is one way we can solve this? First of all, let's draw this out. Can I have someone, since the pen doesn't work for me, can I have someone on this paper draw this out for me? Up here. Gotta move some of my stuff. Only a couple hands? Only a couple? There we go. Okay, let's see. Ray, I always call your name. Ray, would you like to come up and draw this for us? Yeah? Okay. Come on up. You can use this pen right here. There we go. Okay. Do you guys agree with this? Does this look correct? You show it all under there? Okay, let's find out. Let's label this. Is this 8 yards long? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Correct?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and write 8 yards. YD is short for yards if you want to do that. That's okay. Okay, let's check if this one's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. What does that mean this bottom one is?
8.
8. And out loud, what does this mean that side is?
6.
Yes. So we have 2 ways we could solve this. What's one way we could figure out the total area? What's one way we could solve the area? Kelly.
Multiplication, like 6 times 8.
Okay. Multiplication, 6 times 8. Okay, I'm going to get to that in a moment. What's the one we learned yesterday and the day before? What's another way we could find the area? Anna. Add up all the sides? Because that would be what? If we added up the sides, what would that equal? That would be the perimeter, is the sides. So what do we add up for area? Do you know, Anna? Yes, you do. What do we count for area?
Oh, every square.
Every square. Come on up. Let's count the squares. Come count with me. Okay, so we got every square. Everyone count with Anna as she points. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5,
48. Awesome job. Okay, great. So we counted it. So solve how many square feet was it? Or square yards, sorry. It was 48. So we counted 48. You can go ahead and sit down. Golf clap for Anna. Sorry, Ray. Everyone golf clap for Ray for helping me out earlier. Okay, 48 square yards. But let's go back to Kelly. Kelly, what were you saying we could also do that might be a little bit faster? 6 times 8. How do we know it's 6 times 8? How do we know? How do we know it's 6 times 8 would solve the area? Is that the formula we might be learning? You want to call on a friend?
You can count where it says 6 yards, and then on the top, you count 8.
You count 8 and we also have 6. Okay. What does this look like? Think back to when we use multiplication. What does this look like? It's a little bit different, but what does it look like, Ame?
Array.
Yeah! Can everyone say it looks like an array?
Array.
Say it looks like an array.
It looks like an array.
There we go. Notice squares and rectangles are kind of like an array. So that's why we could take the side times this side. Also known as length times width. Or width times length. It could go either way. So a fast way, does 6 times 8 equal 48?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Awesome. Yes, you want to add something, Aiden? Okay, so that's why we used yards. What if we didn't know how big it was? What would we use instead? What if we didn't know that it was yards? Daniel, what would we use instead? Units. And so for perimeter, what would it be? You would just use, what would you use for area? Square units. Awesome. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so think in your head, we've got Nuri and Nori are carpeting a room that is shaped like a square. One wall of the room is 6 yards long. How many square yards of carpet will they need? So they're going to the store. They know that the one side of the room, of the square room, is 6 yards. How can we solve this problem? How can we solve this problem? Quickly talk with your table group. All right. What did your table groups get? Okay, table 1, Suki, what did you guys get? 24, okay. Table 4, what did you get? Andre? So I'm going to have a volunteer to draw this for us again. Jackson. Ugh. Come on, you can do it. Okay, if we've got a square that has, let me turn this, and if each one is a yard, if we've got a square that has 6 long each side, what is it going to look like? You can feel free to ask out to the group if you need to. How long will your first side be? How long is the first side going to say? Say it out loud.
6 yards.
6 yards. So let's count 6. So 1 square is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 more. 6 right there. Okay. How long is the next side going to be? Sarah?
6.
6. So from here, let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what about the rest of them? Say it out loud.
6.
Yeah, so now you can go down and complete the square. So while he's drawing our square, think. We were wondering if it was 24 or 36. I want to ask table 1, how did you guys get 24? Okay, so Peyton says 6 times 4, 5. Did you do the same thing? Okay, 6 times 4 was what they did. Now, let's see. Table 2, Nori, what did you guys do to get 36? 6 times 6. Okay, let's think about it. Is it supposed to be 6 times 6 or 6 times 4? Awesome job, golf clap for Jackson. Great square. Very nice. Okay, we've got our square here. We've got 6 yards here. And 6 yards here, because it's equal on all sides, right? Because it's a square. How do we solve area using our formula? What do we do? Riley Alt. It equals 36. So the tables that said 6 times 6 were right. So do we multiply by the amount of sides it has, or do we multiply by how long the sides are? Yeah, so remember this is length times width. So if we've got our length over here, how tall it is, oops, sorry, that's a big L. Our length is 6 yards, and our width over here is 6 yards. We're gonna take our L, 6, times our W, 6, sorry. And what does that equal?
36.
And if this is all yards, what would the area be? Ethan.
Square yards.
Square yards, 36 square yards. How, this is a complex shape. This isn't just a rectangle or a square, right? It's kind of like a rectangle and a rectangle together. How do you think we can solve this problem? We practiced a little bit yesterday. How can we solve this problem? What's our first step we should do? And our first step isn't solving anything. Not yet. What should our first step be? Nuri. Okay, we're not going to add up the sides because do we add when we're looking for area? Nope, not perimeter. What do we do for area? What should we start with without doing any math? What should we start with? I'm going to move to someone else, okay? Okay, Lucas.
Organize the numbers, and in my Minecrafters Math Adventure book,
Mm-hmm.
there's really hard pages, but my favorite page is about area.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Okay, so you're saying kind of how we have to organize it in some way. You were kind of saying, how do we have to organize it? Andres.
You can put it on paper.
Okay, we can put it on graph paper, but it tells us it here, right? It tells us here. What's something without putting it on graph paper that we could do? Nori.
8 times 4 times 4 times 6 times 4 times 10.
Okay, that's a good thought. You're thinking of multiplying each one. But think back when we had our square. Did we multiply 6 times 6 times 6 times 6? No, so it's not like perimeter. Perimeter, we add all the sides up. Multiplication, we take width times length. So it's not multiplying all these together, but you're getting on the right track. I'm going to give you a hint. We are going to make 2 rectangles from this picture. Okay, 2 rectangles from this picture. So imagine we have a line here. We've got one rectangle and another rectangle. What do we do after that? Ethan, what can we solve first? Not 10 times 10 and not 8 times 8 because there's no squares. So that would mean that you're finding the area of a square. Nuri, 8 times 4. Okay, what does that solve? 32. Okay, we have found this whole length right here. What do we have left to solve? This. We gotta figure out this. So what's the next one we're gonna do? Andres.
6 times 4.
6 times 4. Why not 10 times 4?
Because it would be overlapping. It would be too much.
Yeah, it would be overlapping. So we found this one. All we have to find is this one. So he took 6, which is the width, and the length is 4. Then what do? If we had 32, what's 6 times 4?
24.
24. So if we have 32 and 24, what do we do to find the total area? What's the last step? This is the one time it's a little different. What do we do, Riley? Oh. Yeah, you add them up because we already have area here. We're going to add these two together to get the total. Anyone know what 32 plus 24 is? Andres?
56.
56. So this whole shape is 56. Did we need graph paper? No, you guys did that on your own. Could we put it on graph paper to check our answer? If you wanted to, you could put it on graph paper and count every single square to check. Okay? We figured out width times length equals area. Can you do width times length on a circle?
Nope.
What's the length of this?
It has the
There's not really a length, is there? Okay. Do you guys remember learning about pi on Pi Day?
Yeah.
Okay. You have to use a different formula to figure out a circle. So this, you can't do length times width to find the area of a circle. Okay? So you cannot find it with what we're learning today. So a circle does not work. Yes, no? Can we use length times width on this?
No.
Is there a length?
Yeah, sort of.
No, wait.
Yes, Aiden.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite work. You can find the square in the middle, but you can't figure out using length times width this part. Okay? So what does it work for? It only works for squares and rectangles. Those are two things.
Shapes that
Okay?
are
So now I want you to give it a go. But what we're going to do is you're going to try your own. You're going to create your own polygon. I want you to get creative. You're going to create your own polygon. Wait 1 second, Luz, can you sit down and raise your hand? Raise your hand and sit down. And then use the formula to figure out the total area. After you figure it out, you're going to trade with a partner and check their work, and they'll check your work using the counting square unit method. Okay, so they'll count to check your work. But I've got some rules. It must be a polygon. Okay, it's got to be closed. And that means straight lines, right? That's a polygon. But also there cannot be diagonal lines. You have to stay on the grid lines. Because when we were looking at the triangle and the, what was the other one called?
Circle.
Oh, trapezoid. Trapezoid and the circle. Those had straight lines, but they were diagonal, and it doesn't work if you go diagonally. So you have to stay on the grid lines. Okay? You could make what you think would look like a dog. You could do a little head, legs, body, legs, tail. Okay? Make whatever you'd like to make, but you only have about 2 minutes to make it. Okay, so right as I hand it out, you have about 2 minutes. Can you sit down? I finally stopped speaking, so I can call on you if you were sitting down.
Because then you can set it to like 0.5. If it doesn't make nothing.
It would be, you're right. You couldn't find like half of an area. But
Just
today,
that- just-
we're just working on using that formula of length times width. So with that formula, it doesn't work. Okay?
Well,
So create your own polygon. I'm gonna start a timer, Liz. Okay, I'm gonna give you more time once you draw it, but you've gotta be done drawing it once the 2 minutes is up. Oh, I like it.
the thing outside the thing about
All right.
And I did the
You did your formulas? Good job. I am proud of you. That's awesome.
Yep, just do the evens. So, Riley, you only have to do the evens, because I think you did. Oh, you did. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. So what I want you to do is I want you to put everything into your red folder. You have 3 options. You're gonna have everyone's eyes. Eyes up here.
Eyes up there.
You have 3 options. You can, just like Miss Dayton had with you the other day, you can recycle this, you can keep this in your red folder for now, or you can take this home. 3 options. No other options other than those 3. Okay? Just go throw it away. Didn't ask you to come pull it up, didn't ask you to rip it. Just those 3 options.